Good morning, everyone. My name is Liz Zeman, and I have been a participating member of Covenant Presbyterian for 10 years since I married into the congregation, and I have been asked to speak to you about my Alpha experience, which I'm delighted to do, but we need to start at the beginning. Unlike some of you, my faith journey has been rocky. At the age of 13, having collected the prerequisite perfect attendance Sunday school pins, I asked the senior minister of our very high Episcopalian church that my parents were attending at the time a question. I was 13, and I don't remember the question, and I don't remember his answer, but I do remember my response, which was, "What kind of an answer is that?" And I don't know if he didn't know how to handle a teenager's spiritual question, or I didn't have the spiritual maturity to understand his answer. But with the ultimate self-confidence and wisdom of teenagers who do not yet know the limits of their knowledge, I was sure that it was inadequate, and I spent the next 30 years trying to join what I called the charmed circle of faith. I started with my undergraduate program where I studied Asian philosophies and religion and the first 3 centuries of Christian thought. And as we all know, you cannot think faith into being. I then spent 30 years with a very patient Sunday school class who kindly and patiently answered all of my questions. And while I hovered on the edges of faith, I knew I had not yet really taken the step. When I was 43, 2 things happened that changed my life. 1, I ran up against something that I couldn't fix. And 2, I was invited to participate in the Alpha program. In that church at that time, we did an evening meal, and the program consisted of the meal, the video presentation, and then small discussion groups afterwards. You know, they feed you to get you to come and to get you to feel comfortable with the people that they hope you will share profound and personal thoughts with in the small discussion groups. And it worked. The video presentation was done by an Anglican priest from England, complete with that wonderful English accent, a very pleasing personality, provocative discussions, and profound examples. And all of this thoughtfulness we carried over then to the small discussion groups. We had a large crowd, so they were divided into 2, and I was fortunate to be in the associate minister's discussion group, led by Cheryl Blankenship. And again, I don't remember the question or the topic, but I remember Cheryl saying something, and I said, "Cheryl, if Christians would be that expressive about faith, those of us who have doubts or questions would understand that faith is not a wall to climb. All you have to do is walk through the door that has been opened to you." And I felt those tentative first steps. But what finally did it, the aha moment, was the young man sitting next to me who turned and looked at me and said, "Liz, why do you think people of faith don't have questions they don't have answers to, or perhaps a few doubts?" And that shoved me into the circle of faith, where I have resided comfortably and productively for the last, I'm not going to tell you how many years. So, the Alpha program obviously was very meaningful to me, and I've discussed with you the 3 parts of it. And you may be wondering, what does this have to do with me? And as I think about the Alpha program, I think it's appropriate for at least 3 different types of people. If you are still building your faith, then Alpha will help you develop and think through those steps. If you are spiritually mature and maybe a little stale around the edges, Alpha will refresh your perspectives and cause you to think anew about your faith. And if, like me, you or someone you know has questions you can't answer or doubts, Alpha will help you take those first steps into the charmed circle of faith. And so I encourage and invite all of you to seriously consider the opportunity to participate in the Alpha program. And if you know someone who doesn't fit those 3 categories, y'all come anyway. You will not regret it, and it will improve your faith, your life of faith. Thank you.